Okay guys, here is another quick 10-minute review of a game played by two of my students, Ben and Gontho, and they played it a few days ago, and Gontho sent me the link and said could I have a look at the game and help see what went on. Ben was black, Gontho was white, and white won by Comey, 6.5 points, so that actually the game was even on the board. And it was Comey that made the difference. But there are largely, I've been through the game a couple of times just to have a look in advance of this review. The whole game hinged on quite a deep invasion by white into black's left side that black failed to contain, but failed to contain in two ways. One was about the direction of play, and the other one is about making moves that you don't need to. Gontho white largely played pretty solid moves, and Ben tried some experimental stuff that didn't quite come off. But let's jump right into the game and see what happened. So here is the game. Ben's black upper right corner, 4-4, 3-4 on the lower right, 3-4 in the lower left, and a 3-4 in the upper right. So Gontho, in playing 2-3-4s, is actually saying I want to make shimaris. I want points in this game. I want points in the territory, and black's making a statement up in the upper right that he's equally interested in the sides and the center but wants points in the lower left. So black uses that first mover advantage that you have as black to make 15 or so points in the lower left corner. I can't knock it, it's points in the bank. White's not going to get his hands on any of those, and white makes an extension. It's a slightly odd extension, this one, Gontho, because it's high in relationship to your 3-4 stone, but not wrong for that, and it also puts no pressure on black whatsoever. I might expect to see something more, if you like that point, something like this, and then come back here. So make that pushing approach at black first rather than jumping straight for the 3-point as you did in the game. Anyway, so black high approach to the upper left corner. The joseki we would expect to see here is the attached drawback joseki, or not, because in this case this would be too good for black. So Gontho played this move, which is known as the Shusaku Kosumi, and this is a very famous move, made famous by a early 19th century player called Shusaku, who's known as the Go Saint, and he was a pretty strong young player who sadly died of cholera, I think in his late 20s or mid 20s. He died very young, but left us a record of fabulous games. So white comes out with the Shusaku Kosumi, and black comes back and makes this defensive move, which I think is fine. It's building some territory, it's building something on the left hand side for Ben. And what does white do? White stabilizes that group, which I think is a great move. Black stone needed some support and stabilization, but so did white. This, I think, is now Ben's first probably real mistake about direction of play in the game. Ben then makes another Kosumi in the upper right side, Shimari in the upper right side, which I think is perfectly good. Although, if you want to make that Shimari, it's not a great one to make from the 4-4 stone. Generally, we make that Shimari off the 3-4, as you did in the lower left corner. In the upper right, we need 3 stones really to seal that corner off. We would actually need another stone on that point. You need this Kosumi with a knight move to solve the corner when you're out on the 4-4. So that's kind of slightly against your direction play. It's not wrong, but it's actually saying the direction's a little bit odd here, because if I look at these stones, we say, okay, let's look at the nearby white stones here and here. Which group is stronger? Well, clearly the upper left is stronger. In that case, we should approach the weaker. In that case, black's approach should be somewhere like here, or possibly here, although this would be giving white a nice extension in this kind of fashion. This isn't so great, so it constrains black, but certainly the high move here is good, because it puts some pressure on white. So I think this is a little slack in this circumstance. And then white made another Shimari in the lower left. These are two very territory based players. They both like having their points in the bank. They like having their money tucked away and secure. So white wants the lower right corner. And I was going to say, this move, I think, is the first mistake by Ben in the game that starts to tilt the advantage towards Gontho. Why? It's simply too small. If we look at this board and say, where are the biggest points on the board? Well, I think it's pretty clear. We can see there's a big point here, or if you don't like that extension here, that really develops the lower left corner, or there's still this point here that develops the upper right corner. They're both huge points in terms of opening, and we can see the game is. That's what would happen in the game here. What's the risk? Well, the risk is if black plays something like this, I think the best white can do in this situation is attach. Black draws back. White probably draws back. And black could descend. And then white could cut, and black could cut, and white could come out, and then black could come back here. There's not a lot going on in that upper left corner for black. And so I think to spend your sente, as you did in the game, with this move, was just missing the direction of play, and it was missing the pace of the game, Ben. And both of those needed a bit more focus. So white clearly took advantage of that, and white said, well, okay, if you're going to play small moves in the upper left, I'm going to play big moves in the upper right. And so now your investment of 2 black stones is really constrained by white, and that's an excellent move by Gontho to develop. He's got a solid corner here with the Shimari down in the lower right. He's got a big extension that we commented on earlier in the game, and now this extra extension that really compresses that black corner and limits black's territorial ambitions. Black now plays this extension that he should have played instead of the c16 move. But again, white gets a sente, so what's white going to do with this sente? So white comes out. I'm not sure about this move. This is a shoulder hit, but black can easily crawl underneath, but black doesn't. I would have thought that this one here would have been a bit more secure, Gontho. This is it limits black's ability to push any further into your corner, but makes a very strong and stable relationship between the P3 and the M3 stone. So you use the shoulder hit. Black played here. I think if it was me, I'd have just pushed underneath and said what you can do now, and then come here. Now you've got to deal with the cutting point, and black gets this kind of move where it's really developing that territory based around that corner Shimari on the D3 C5 stones very powerfully. So I didn't quite like that sequence, and I think black, Ben, you missed a trick here, not pushing up. You kind of went, oh, don't hurt me. White jumped, and now you can see white is developing a big moyo around the lower right hand side, and so black gets jealous and decides to invade at this point, which is fine. It's a perfectly good invasion, and it's almost it's kind of on the radar of what we've talked about already. White caps. I think the cap is okay in terms of direction. It's asking a question of black. Do you want to come in one of two ways? Which way is black going to push through here? Is black going to push in this direction out here, or in this direction out here? Because there are two. So black comes back to connect to the corner. White blocks. Black pushes. Black comes out, connects. And then again, black plays this move. This is what black's move has said, I really like the points in the corner. And then with this move, black says, well, actually, I think I want some points on the outside as well. And I think this is just a bit too much, Ben. It's about consistency in your approach and your standard, because now white presses in there. I think white could equally powerfully have done this and just pressed in there, which forces this by black, and then white can actually steal all of those points by connecting under. You may say, well, I'm worried about my 3 stones, these guys here, but they've got plenty of direction here, and they've got plenty of direction here. I don't think you need to worry too much about those at this stage in the game. And that takes away black points. But in the game, Ben played this move, white pushed in, black made this shape, which was slightly odd, rather than just simply connecting. Because if you'd have connected here, Ben, then everything's strong and solid. If white cut here, you can come out here, and now you've still got loose stones that are coming out. That would have been a variant sequence. This one, white Atari'd, you connected. So actually when you played this one, you knew what was going to happen next, and this becomes a bit of a theme. We should try and avoid playing stones when we know exactly what our opponent's going to do and whether it makes good shape for them. White, black, and then Gontho makes a net and kicks that stone into touch, and is unconcerned, absolutely unconcerned about this cut. It's too small for this stage in the game for this cut, and Ben makes the cut. You've got a sente at this point, Ben. You can play any way you like. You know exactly what's going to happen if you play that Atari at R11. You know that Gonzo will give up the stone. He has to give up the stone. So in terms of black's move, you've got a move like this that is a big territorial move that makes some points. Equally, you could come up here and expand the lower left. There are lots and lots of things you can do. Yes, this is a sente, and you'll probably get away with this at the moment, but if you play this kind of move, your opponent will just ignore and play a big point. What would be a big point in this? Something like this to take the territory on the top side. So white counter Ataris and you take, and then white does the big move, this invasion, and this is the invasion that decides the game, because black's failure to take control of this invasion means that Gonzo steals some like 35 points off black and wins the game by Comey. So what's going on here? Black's group above is strong because these 2 points are miai, and by miai we mean one or the other. If white were to take this point, black can take this point and make shape for 2 eyes. If white takes this point, black can push out and take the point above and get 2 eyes. So the group above is safe. But the territory that black wants to take, the big territory, in fact, black has got this territory here, a few points here, and these points here. That's what's going on in the board at the moment. And if we look at this, white has got a few points here and this area here. That's what's going on there. So in those terms, let's just look at those, add a couple of colours here. So let's just so we can see that again. Black here, black here, black here. The centre's undecided, but that's where the points are on the board. And the game's probably about even. It's not far from even, but that's what's going on. Let's clear all that away. So black attacks from this direction, and it's another shoulder hit. The problem with this attack from this direction is it's going to push white into your own territory, and this is where the direction of attack is important. If you'd attacked from this side, someone like here, and white had come up, then you can take white's base away, and white's got no base in this area. But this attack, white came out, you came out, white made this jump, and notice how white is now pressing down and penetrating this area, but you're pushing white in that direction, and Gonzo takes advantage of that by moving in that direction. So you attach to protect the points in the corner, and white connects with the Kosumi between the E7 stone and the D8 stone. Black, you make this Hane underneath, which means that you're trying to protect that lower territory that you're pushing white towards, and white jumps. So white's running out now. So it's white's doing a reduction here rather than invasion. White's gone into your territory, taken a big hole, pushed some stones into there, and now wants to get them back out to the centre to live. You're going to try and cut off their exit and contain those stones. I quite like that move by Ben. And then Gonzo misses the direction of play. I think the move that would resolve all of this is either penetrating deep into black, and now we can see that these stones are under attack, quite violent attack. So it's that missing that, because the white's corner here is super strong with this net here, the Shimari in the corner, this wall. Suddenly these stones come under attack with that kind of move. And Go, as I keep saying to you guys, is about the battles between strong and weak stones. So this move, I think, misses the direction of play. It's not where the main focus of the battle is at the moment, Gontho. The fight is elsewhere. Even a move like this, just take that off there. This is quite, even if black crawls, then you've got this kind of cut here. This is much more powerful kind of attack that we would expect to see. So I think going back, I think I won't labour the point anymore. This misses the direction of play. And Ben pushes out there, which I think again misses the direction of play. This group of stones is very weak. It's super weak and vulnerable to attack. And an attack somewhere in, I guess you want to protect the side and force black out, and then you can start to make territory while they're under attack. So we're here. So this, again, this is not the main direction of play. White's strong and alive above, and it's the white group here that is the vulnerable one that you can make a lot of points while attacking. So white comes out, you come out, white extends, you extend, white harness. So white is enlarging and building its territory here, and you're enlarging and building territory here, but white's getting more than black. And then black comes back and defends, and so white says, oh, I'm in trouble now, I've got to get out. Good move there. I think it's the move, the only move that threatens to cut outside at h9 or inside at g8. So white comes out, black turns underneath, white extends, and then black goes back to this battle here. I think this battle's done. I think the main axis of this fight now has got to be here. So these stones are in serious trouble here because black can do something like this, white, black, and then white is cut. So this is the wrong direction of play. Well, let's see if we do here. What other options? White here, white cap, black cut here, white, black. What does white do here? Maybe here, here, here. This isn't going to work. The black stones are alive because this white stone can't run. Like this. So there were lots of moves there. And so after getting that push underneath, this is just the wrong direction of play. Wrong direction. And it keeps in that way. And this is the wrong point of attack because it's helping white escape. If white were to play something like that, white's really out and escaped and has destroyed your territory. So this isn't attacking with enough venom. And still this move here is a viable move for black. And now white's pretty much out. Now this was an interesting move because this almost opened the game up again. Black played here, black pushed, and now white is cut. These white stones are cut again. So this is again slightly missed opportunity. Here these white stones are cut because notice that white can't push at J7 because black gets a double Atari in two directions. Does black need to answer white's push? I think the bigger prize is here. That would be my take on the situation. And if white comes down here, then black can come here. I think you're giving up something, but this corner becomes so huge with those white stones captured inside it that it's almost a resigned game at that point. So after black does answer, and now white net starts to make some shape, and white starts to widen the base to get some point. Black harness down, white, black harness again, and white descends. Now, this is a really important point. Does black need to play at A11? The answer, it's a rhetorical question. The answer is no. Because if black plays at A11, white makes an I. So don't make moves that enable your opponent to make good shape. Black's move, at least here, should be there. What happens if white pushes here? Black plays here, and then white's still got to go back and fix this shape. Or indeed make an eye again here. So there was nothing that white could do to you, Ben, in this situation that would force you to make this play. And so don't make it. Make the next best play. Sorry, let's go back to there. Instead of playing there, take one of the eyes away. So white has now got an edge, an eye on the edge there, and has got to make an eye in this kind of area, which is going to be super difficult for white. That's what's going to happen. So in the game, you descended, which you didn't need to do. This is a slack move, and white makes an eye. And then you threaten the cut, so white blocks the cut, and then you need to take away the second eye. This takes away the second eye, because here, now, white has only got one eye there, and you get sente. So now you can do something like this, and all of the white stones are dead. All of them are dead. So this was the wrong direction of play because white took the vital point, and now white has got two eyes on the edge. You block, white comes up, you're counter-attacking. There's no point in defending the stone. White's alive with two eyes. White blocks, you come. And then there's some other bits of the game here, but I don't think there's anything significant here. The significant moves, these are all just end game plays. No, and then there's a little co-emojis. All of the mistakes were around here. It was this sequence here that gave white two eyes, and white had two eyes, then it was a game over, or a very close game. Up to that point, if we just go back a little bit, let's go back before white made some eyes and look at a score estimate at that one. Yeah, black by 40. It just completely absorbs those white stones. It's a massive win for black. And that's the way the game should have ended. So fantastic result by Gonzo for getting those white stones and making them alive. And Ben, there were two issues with your play. One was the direction of play, the direction of attack. Don't attack your opponent in a way that pushes them towards your own territory and damages your own territory. And the second was slack moves and not focusing on eyes. More sumigo. That's what will sort that out. Okay guys, I'm going to stop that for now. I hope that helps. Good game. You guys should play again. You're very evenly matched, and there are some more nice games of Go to come out of you two. Okay, thanks for that, and see you soon. Bye for now.